I think I'm good to go.
It's just the overall experience this week and then the game today. What's your impression?
The experience this week is incredible. Obviously, getting to be put in this light, to run your team, lead the men, get your coaching staff assigned, all this stuff, and you kind of have to piece it together traditionally, like when you're in the same building. It was a great learning experience. It just reaffirms that I know I can be a head coach and I want to be a head coach. That's what this week's experience was. Then everything that we applied from a teaching standpoint, a mindset standpoint, an ability to put declared intensity out there on the field, that in my eyes it flashed right away in the first couple series there. I'm going to use some of those O-line finishes and the runners and the receive, like everybody as far as teach tape, that the fact that you can have 6 hours of practice with a group of guys that have never met each other or never played with each other and apply principles that we continually teach and preach at our level.
Coach, your thoughts on Garrett Nussmeyer?
Well, Garrett, he's back there, and I've known him a while. Thought he played a very efficient, clean game, ran the operation very well, didn't put the ball in harm's way. Obviously he scored a touchdown there, so I think it was a perfect ending to the week. And not just Garrett, but like the first day of practice in the Senior Bowl, they're all accomplished collegiate football players with a lot of resume out there. But the first day is still like the first day of class. Everybody's kind of just feeling their way around and getting things going and flowing to their normal manner. And I felt like as this week progressed and we got to today, it's what you expected in an all-star game with a limited playbook for the most part too.
You had a lot of assistant coaches from the Saints on your staff. After this week, you feel like you got a head start by seeing firsthand here on everybody else?
Well, if we don't have a head start, then we severely didn't do our job correctly. I mean, we're the first team to be around this American group. We should know the American group like the back of our hand, based off the time spent with the group, the interaction, and even it isn't always about football. We got to find out more off the field. What burns for this player to make them want to be great, or maybe what's the reason why they may not be a first day or second day draft pick and they're more of second or third day and a free agent. Is there something that's kind of holding them back? And we got the first line or the first opportunity to really get to know these guys.
You had Rashad Johnson on your staff, an Alabama guy. What were your impressions of him?
I think Rashad did a phenomenal job just as far as like this business is all about being detailed and being able to get what you're trying to coach out of the player. And I felt like he was able to do that all week. And really just my ability to go walk around in the different groups, in the position groups, which is something I've never done. I mean, I watched D-line drills for the first time live and I'm like, this is awesome. I'd like to do that more. That means I'm running the show. But I thought Rashad did a phenomenal job. Energy, technique driven, and obviously you have to have some personality to yourself when you're leading this group.
Hey, Coach, I know that the group's only been here for like a short period of time, but as coaches, how much do you work hard to try to coach all of these guys up anyways with the short period of time, knowing that this is the first step in the process in the draft? You obviously have the combine coming up and pro days, and you want to get them prepared as much as you can for the draft, and this is the first step, so how much pride do you take that you want to coach everybody up since they made the sacrifice to come down here?
Well, I mean, that's something we talked to the group earlier, as far as, they've got pressure, it's from all over, different angles, and ultimately they want to be the best football player they can to go be in the NFL, be a leader, be a star, all this stuff. So the pressure for us as coaches is to have them prepared. And I don't want to necessarily say it's pressure like it makes me nervous, but I think it's more of pride. I never want to go out to a practice and have a bad practice because a player doesn't know what he's doing or he doesn't have the proper tools in his toolbox to execute his job or the knowledge there. So I think it's more pride than pressure that we put ourselves as coaches in the 6 hours, just under 6 hours of practice we get, this isn't going to be a big technique correction camp or senior bowl week. It's more of like we got to learn the assignments and the whys of the assignments, and that's why we don't on both sides of the ball. They're not big playbooks, but at least it's a jump start to see if they have the NFL knowledge of schemes and execution of offenses.
Thank you.
Coach, what do you think about these running backs this week?
I thought they ran hard. I mean, I obviously the first look I had on the other team was today, but you know, part of it too, you're getting a feel of rhythm, and then you're kind of at the mercy of what's going on in front as well, as far as them being on the same page. So there were times during practice they all flashed, and I'd say they came to life today. Like they came to life today. It was really cool to see. You know, like the one that I've talked about before that I really had no information on because he hadn't played much was Jake Knott. And, you know, he ripped out a couple runs, had a nice chip, did a nice job. But I thought they did a great job of like finishing the run, having intent, trying to impose your will on the other side of the ball and falling forward.
Did you lean on the running game because of the weather earlier or because that's part of your coaching staff?
Well, if you look at the box score from last year when I called the game, that was not a reflection of my coaching style. I threw the ball a lot, and I'm looking at it like, God dang. This year, though, it was deliberate just because of the way the weather was, and we knew like a strength of our offense was our front, our offensive line, and so we felt like we could get it going, and then obviously everybody else followed behind, and they did a great job finishing.
Thank you.
Yes.
So when you know that you're going to be dealing with a lot of cold weather, a lot of times teams will fall back on the running game. So do you feel like knowing ahead of time what the forecast could be, that was what you had to prepare for all week?
Yes, I agree. it was one that as the week went on, obviously we got here, and at first, before we got here, there was a couple days I think rain was involved. I was like, okay, rain and wind, not great for an evaluation. Then it kept pretty consistent. Feels like mid-20s. All right, we got to make sure we got that mindset of running the ball. And Scotty, he did a great job of being intentional with executing that plan.
Coach, I'm not sure if you've been asked already, but who were some of the standout performers in the game today and then the win for you?
Oh, golly. Well, start with I see helmets right away, so I think my Notre Dame wide receiver right away. You know, he had a big execution early in the game. Cincinnati, big 3rd down and 7 conversion there. Obviously, the quarterback's delivering the ball in both those reps. The interior offensive line, that's where the surge was going on in the run game. And with our staff too, you know, talking about this game, we were very intentional of just rolling guys. You know, typically you're dealing with like quarters, you know, as far as rotating them. When you have 4 quarterbacks, it's usually 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. And we didn't want anybody just being cold off the bench if they're waiting until the 4th quarter. So, you know, in that regards, that's what we were trying to do there. So
These guys are all
Last
stars.
question right
Coach,
here, Paul.
second time you coach in the game,
Mhm.
maybe last year, you might be the first assistant coach in the NFL to do that, coordinator, head coach. How valuable now would you say coach up experience now as you experience as a head guy?
well, it's invaluable. I mean, you don't necessarily get all this when you're in your building. I mean, we all have to find rules, what we're doing. We want to stay in our lane, at the same time, keep on progressing towards goals that we have, which my goal is to be a head coach. So this is invaluable to be able to jump in and not just call it or be the head coach for the game, but it's everything that's involved the week of the game. You know, we want to make sure the players aren't sitting out in the field 16 minutes between introductions and the kickoff. So you have to be able to go to somebody, tell them, hey, we don't want to do that. Let's get out as a team so they're out there only 4 minutes or 5 minutes. Like, those are the things that you don't think of when you're an assistant coach because you got your itinerary and you go. And that's just one instance, but that's the things that being in this role, it kind of opens your mind a little bit, and you're not a tunnel thinker. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.